This is my 30th favorite book review. I've done 30 of these things. And it's only taken me 15 months. Today's book review is on The Giver by Lois Lowry, a book review that has been highly anticipated by several people, at least according to the comments that they left. Which doesn't really surprise me unduly. The Giver is one of those books that a lot of kids have read, mostly because it's a Newbery Award winner and schools generally give it out for kids to read. Now at this point, most of the dystopian novels that we've looked at have been pretty dark. And in fact, dystopian novels by their very nature are dark stories. And so to take the idea of a dystopian society and write it for children, that takes talent. Each dystopian society that we've looked at so far has had its own unique property, and the society in The Giver is no exception. The unique point of the society in The Giver is that when you first read about it, it doesn't seem half bad. I mean, mostly when you read about a dystopian society, you're aware pretty much at the first chapter what's wrong with this society. I mean, the first scene you see in Fahrenheit 451 is a book burning. So even though the protagonist might not be aware that there's anything wrong with the society, the reader is aware. But you read about the society and yeah, it's pretty strict and there are a lot of rules, but I mean, it's well ordered, it's clean, it's comfortable, people want for nothing. What could possibly be wrong with this? The story of The Giver follows a young man named Jonas. Jonas is about to become a 12. See, in this society, the age of children changes all at the same time. You get a certain number of children born in a year, and then in December, all of those children turn 1. And then the following December, they all turn 2, and then 3, and then 4, and etc. And the classes are designated by their age, so you are a 2 or a 3. And for each age level, you get something new, something that's supposed to help you mature as a child, to help you grow and learn more. 12 is the last age that really matters. Once you become a 12, that's when you get your job assignment. People don't pick their own jobs in this society. There is a committee of elders who carefully observes each child as they're growing up and then selects the job that they would be best suited for. The ceremony of 12 comes around and Jonas is not assigned to a job. He is selected to be the next receiver of memory. In this village, there is one man who holds all of the memories of the world for this village. And this is the point of the story when we start to realize that maybe not everything is quite as perfect as it seems. The idea of this village is sameness. Take away anything that could possibly cause consternation among the citizens. So any memory that is intensely painful, like memories of warfare or starvation or anything along those lines, those are all taken away and held by the receiver of memory. But by the same token, memories of color, of music, of any intensely pleasurable thing, those are also taken away. And yes, in case you're wondering, nobody has sex in this village. And so Jonas becomes the next receiver, and so the old receiver, now the giver, has to give him all of these memories, transfer all of the memories to Jonas. And so Jonas becomes acutely aware of the inner workings of this village, and he starts to learn that everything is not as wonderful and perfect as it has always seemed. In any dystopian society, there is a method for placating the people and avoiding an uprising against the society. Usually it's done through fear, often it's also done through delirious happiness, like in Fahrenheit 451 or in Feed. In The Giver, it's done through sheer ignorance. The people of this society essentially have no choices. They can't choose their own job, they can't choose their own spouses, they can't even have kids of their own. They have kids assigned to them. So there's no sense of family, there's no love. Love is a meaningless word in this village. In fact, one of the main aspects of this village is precision of language. It plays a big role in the control of the people of this village. From the time they learn to talk, children are taught to be very precise with their language so that they don't use any words that are too strong for the society. But ironically, the precise language also clouds actual meaning. For example, at the beginning of the story, we hear about a citizen's release from the village. Taken out of context like that, it just sounds like exile. They're being sent away from the village. But we soon come to learn that release is a euphemism for something much darker. And so once Jonas sees the inner workings of this society, he can't believe that people would allow this to happen. But the thing is, these people don't know any other way. And they have no reason to question if there's anything wrong with this. In fact, a lot of the measures that they take are measures that could potentially solve a lot of world problems. Environmental problems, everyone rides bicycles. Overpopulation problems, only a certain number of people are allowed to be born every year. Joblessness, jobs are selected for you. Domestic disputes, spouses and children are selected for you. The scariest thing about this society is that it works, and there is no danger, none, of there ever being a revolt. And one of the main reasons for that is that the Committee of Elders themselves are under the same control as everybody else. The rules that have been set down have been in place for a long, long time, and nobody remembers any other way except for the receiver of memory. Now, one could argue that this is not necessarily an effective dystopian novel because it is based in fantasy. There are magical and supernatural elements, and therefore it's not quite as plausible as it might otherwise be. But here's why I think The Giver is an effective dystopian novel, and Cassie, I hope you're paying attention. Ultimately, The Giver asks this question: if it were possible to create a world in which there was no pain, no starvation, no war, no serious problems anywhere, but the price of that organization was to eliminate not only all the pain from our lives, but all of the love from our lives. To eliminate all the memories that are too strong or too colorful, to make everything bland, black and white vanilla. If such a thing were possible, would we do it? Answering that hypothetical might tell us a lot about ourselves as the human race, and so The Giver remains an excellent example of a children's dystopian novel, and it remains on the favorites list. Now, you may not know this about The Giver, but it actually has 2 companion novels. And so Gathering Blue by Lois Lowry is going to be next on the favorites list. And now I can return my borrowed copy of The Giver to Alicia. And I said that just so I could mention Alicia in a video. Hi. See you next time.